So in this video, we're going to be talking about movement in World of Warcraft. If you're new to PC gaming or MMORPGs, this video is essential for you guys. For the people who aren't brand spankers, then look at the timestamps in the description below because we'll go on to some advanced movement details later in the video. Make sure you check out all my social medias. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, what is keyboard turning? Keyboard turning is basically using the keyboard to turn your character like this. And as you can see, this leaves your mouse completely open, so naturally people start clicking and they'll run over with keyboard turning and they'll click to attack. Now there's a number of reasons why this is not optimal at all, and we're going to explain that and go into further depth. So the first step is, if you're not already, you need to be using your left hand on W, A, S and D. Your ring finger should be over A, your middle finger should be over W, your index finger should be over D, which will leave your pinky nicely to the side of shift and control, and your thumb should be just under spacebar. And this is quite a comfortable position for most people. I know everyone's hands are different. But if you can relax and just keep your hand over there, it might feel a bit foreign at first, but practice 2-3 weeks, it'll feel natural. Okay, so the next step is actually the hardest step of all if you're not already doing this, and that is pushing your keyboard buttons to use your spells and abilities. So you want to be going over targets and actually pushing buttons to use your abilities instead of clicking them. As you can see, my mouse is nowhere near the spells and abilities, and I'm clicking the buttons, pushing the buttons on my keyboard, and that's how I attack targets. What I suggest doing is, if you're not already doing this, the action bars down here will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Put your combat abilities down there. It's okay for now clicking things such as Hearthstone and like your professions and stuff like that. That's fine. But your combat abilities, which you should only really have, your attacking abilities might be 5 or 6, should definitely be 1 through 5. So the next step is actually using your mouse to move. Now this might seem far-fetched, but this is how PvPers and streamers make it look so fluid and effortless, and the characters appear to move faster than your character because they're using these movement techniques. So there is a few different variations and ways of doing this, and to start off, the easiest way to do this would probably be to just hold down right click, and if you click D you'll strafe right, and if you click A you'll strafe left. Okay, naturally strafing will be already bound to Q and E, so strafe left will be Q and strafe right will be E. However, I think you should unbind them keys if you're going to use this technique, and we'll get into that when we do the Keybindings video next. But for now, if you can just learn to turn with your mouse, so holding right click and turning like this turns your character, and if you look, it's a lot smoother. You can do sharper turns and everything like that, and if you can add a strafe in there, you get quite a lot of control of your character, and you can actually position the camera around a target. So if I want to keep this big target dummy in the center of my screen, keep an eye on what he's doing, what spells he's casting, I can do that. Whereas with keyboard turning, I can't see him properly in my screen if I want to run circles around him. Hey guys, what's up? It's post-production Tenek here. Just to let you know, if you are really struggling with this, I suggest changing strafe left to A and strafe right to D, and then that basically forces you to never be able to use them, so you're not tempted to use them, because if you click turn, then your character automatically strafes instead of turning. So to do this, simply press escape, go into Keybindings, movement, and strafe left, bind it to A, and strafe right, bind it to D. So this takes practice, and I suggest, obviously, when you're leveling, that's all the practice you really need. So if you can just get used to controlling your character like this while you level through content, by the time you hit max level, you're probably going to be quite competent in doing it. Even just running circles around a major city, trying to like avoid things and go in between objects and stuff like that, you'll find it a lot easier to do like this, and your character will actually appear a lot quicker. Now, another way to use movement is to just have 2 buttons bound. Some people use Q and E, others use A and D, and basically only having 2 keys bound to movement allows for more key bindings. And I know we're getting into key binding territory, so don't confuse yourself too much and don't worry about what I'm saying too much if you don't understand. But it basically just means all your character on the keyboard can do is this, and everything else is controlled by your mouse. So that involves double clicking, which I'm sure you already know. If you click left and right mouse buttons down, you'll move forward and you can turn like this. Now, I'm not too big of a fan of this because I like, for when I'm doing arenas, battlegrounds, even doing dungeons and raids, I like to be able to control my camera but move in a different direction. That could be running away from somebody, but I can control my camera. See what I'm doing? Personally, if you're new, I would definitely stick to the first one I showed you, where you've got your hand hovering over W, A, S, and D, and using right click to smoothly move your character, strafe, and honestly guys, all it is practice. Even if you are max level and you're wanting to change up and improve yourselves, just running around a major city, doing your dailies, can massively improve after 2 to 3 weeks your movement mechanics. Now, I'm going to just quickly touch on key bindings, and I'm not going to talk about where you should map your spells and abilities per se, although you've probably already noticed, number 2 and 3, you need to lift your forward movement finger from W to click them. So what I tend to do is, I have 2 and 3 as castable spells, so I can't move when I'm casting them, so it's fine to take my finger off of W, whereas all my instant cast spells are actually bound to other things. You've also probably noticed your index finger is the most versatile and can push the most buttons on the keyboard. Now, you've probably noticed that when you're strafing right, your index finger is tied up and you can't use it for the spells and abilities that you've bound. I'm going to show you something that all advanced players on WoW use, and you probably didn't think it was such a big deal, but it is. And the reason a lot of players have accessories such as Razer Naga mouse. I've got it here. It's got 12 buttons on the side. It basically allows us to bind loads of abilities to that, so I can move without having to worry about my index finger getting caught up. But if you haven't got one of these, a technique would be jumping. Spacebar, yeah. And this is why you see people. So let's say one of my abilities is bound to the F key down here, right? If I didn't use jump, this is what it would look like when I cast my ability. See that? It's quick, but it's not as quick as I'm going to show you now. See that? So my character continued moving and I clicked a spell. I pushed the spells button and my character continued moving. Whereas if I didn't use the spacebar to jump, my character would just stop. And even though it's milliseconds, that could be the difference between Death Knight gripping you or not. So it is very, very useful. Okay guys, stick around because I'm going to show you a quick couple of videos of why you shouldn't backpedal and keyboard turn. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more in-depth guides, and be sure to leave a comment down below. I'd like to see all them new players progressing, and I'd like to hear your stories about progressing and if this video helped you or not. Let's go. Suppose clicking is a lot easier for spellcasters, but I'll try and show you an example of why you shouldn't backpedal. I can get like a melee character on. See, you can keep this mage in line of sight. So that's what you want to do. And you can see how it's so much easier to keep him there. We're just going to wait. I'm going to stun him out of this. He's waiting. Yeah, just get a stun out there. Because the slippery buggers. Right, so we've got a rogue here. So we'll try and bait this rogue into pattern, and I'll show you what backpedaling looks like. I'll start clicking my abilities, right? So this is me clicking my abilities and backpedaling. This rogue is obviously my friends are stunning him, but where is he? Right. I'll trinket that. So if I'm backpedaling, you see he's quicker than me. That's what I'm trying to get at. Oh. Look at that. Survival, go bear form. Wow, this is... I can't do it. That's so difficult. It's like... I'm too busy looking down at my spells and abilities that I don't know what's going on. And two, I thought about going into bear form and using my defensives literally like 4 seconds before I could even click bear form, but then there was other defensives that I needed to click. It was just really, really difficult, that. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Remember, any questions, leave a comment, like the video, share the video, and if you follow my live stream on Twitch, you might be able to ask us a question live. So, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.